Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to a crisp October's morning here on Court Farms Country Park. Now this is episode 19 of the Let's Play series, and as always I hope you're all doing good and having a nice day. So, yes, as I just said, October. First day in October. Our job cards today pretty much contain this field. We need to get it drilled. We're going to drill some oat into here. We've got some rain due that's forecast in about 2 hours time. So we need to crack on and get that done. But in this field, we limed it in the last episode. I think I did. Yeah, it was the last episode, wasn't I? It needs drilling. It'll need rolling. It will potentially need the weeder running in it, and it obviously needs to be sprayed with nitrogen to bring the fertilization up to scratch. So yeah. These are the fields that we drilled in the last month, in the last episode. If I bring up the heads-up display, let's get rid of these bits and bobs here. Less screen clutter. Yep, the barley's growing nicely. Off camera, I have rolled, fertilized, and weeded all of the. Was it 4 or 5 fields that we drilled in the last? I think it was 4. So yeah, everything is exactly as it should be. So if I pop into the menu here. So in the precision farming menu, as you can see, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, all fields are fine for lime. Nitrogen wise, this is the field of rye, this is the field of linseed, this is a field of wheat, this is the field of canola, and this is the field of barley. So everything is as it should be with fertilizer, and obviously yield. We've seen that in the seed. I think obviously with rye and linseed being relatively new crops, as it were. Extra crops added into the game, they just have a standard seed rate, so that's all good and proper. If I pop into the field menu here, growth wise, again everything's growing as it should be. This is ready to be drilled, and there we go. Yeah, so rye, linseed, wheat, canola, barley, and we're going to put oat in this one. So that's where we are. It's one thing that really did quite frustrate me actually. If we pop into the weed, where is it there? Look at that. Field 109. How frustrating is that? And that was all done last month, so now I've gone into it and woken up in this month. It's now telling me it needs a hoe to remove this tiny patch of weeds. Very frustrating. It was because the weeder itself, the field information there in the bottom right-hand corner was telling me that weeds were growing and it needed a weeder to remove them, but there was literally nothing in the field. It had just been drilled, so it was just a bare field. So there was no reference point at all as to whether I'd missed any bits or not. So I ran courseplay, as I usually do, and considering I couldn't tell whether any bits had been missed or not, I'm actually quite impressed that the only bit that it's missed, because I did this field didn't say it didn't need doing. It was this one, this one, this one, sorry, this one, and this one. And of all 3 fields, that's the only tiny patch that the weeder has missed running courseplay. So, you know, kudos to courseplay, it did well, but still frustrating, little green patch. Anyway, right, sorry. So, as you might see there, I have relocated the 3 pieces of equipment that we tend to use for grass work. There's the weeder with the levelling board, there's the tedder, and there's the mower. I'm going to keep them under here now, because there's a bit more room to manoeuvre about in front of here. There's nothing in that shed there, that's just at the back of the cow pasture. There's nothing in there at the minute, until we maybe purchase a few more bits of equipment in the future. So as always, a very quick rundown. The cows are fine, the sheep are fine, the sheep are fine. Again, popping into the menu, they have sprouted another 20 though, so we now have 100 sheep. They haven't produced pretty much any more wool than we had from the last episode, so we've got 3 full pallets at 3,000 litres and 908 litres in another pallet. Cows are fine, again for food. As I'm sure I've mentioned a handful of times, they literally don't go through their food very fast at all, which has got its good points and its bad points. I would actually prefer that they would go through the food a bit quicker, but I'm using that to my advantage because I still have the grass field here to get cut. We're going to hopefully get to that in this episode if the weather will allow us and if the time will allow us. In fact, let's just have a quick flick to the weather. So, yeah, so 10 o'clock this morning, it's due to rain, and it's going to rain until 12 o'clock, and then from 1 o'clock onwards, we seem to have pretty nice weather. So I think, yeah, I think we'll get cutting this in the afternoon, and we need to get drilling in this. Now let me just put the time scale back to 1. When I noticed that rain was coming at 10 o'clock, I just dialed the time back just by half, just for the purposes of this introduction and to stop me from mucking about and messing things up and taking too much time. So the keen-eyed viewers of you will also recognise that onwards from the last episode, I think we finished the last episode with about 60,000 quid in the bank. We now have 40. Now, I have done a bit of chopping and changing. What I have done, because it's something I've been wanting to do since the start of this series, in fact. But I just wanted to get cracking with things. So, regarding picking up bales, I have obviously been using 4D Modding's beautiful old 20-foot bale trailer with the auto-load function. I haven't really made any use of the front loader and bale spike that I purchased for the Ford. So I thought, you know what, it's about time I pulled my finger out and actually did it all properly. So I have sold the front loader arm from the Ford. I've removed the front loader bracket from the Ford. We've sold the bale spike, and we've sold the manure fork that was for the front loader equipment. And I've also sold the bale trailer, the 20-foot bale trailer with the auto load function. And from that, we sold all of that equipment at the shop, because you can get an extra few hundred quid, sometimes up to a couple of grand, depending on the value of the piece of equipment. We sold all of that for £18,680, which is good. And then I replaced it with, let's wander around here and I shall show you. We have ourselves a telehandler. Now, I could never afford to purchase one of the big fancy telehandlers, the really nice Manitous or the JCB or anything like that. But I've always had this mod in since I discovered it back in the early days of Scroff's Farmhand series. Now, it's obviously, I know it's not the one that's been customised, that's got the stop faffing stickers in the window and stuff, but this is what it was based on. And I do love it. It's a beautiful little thing. Nice and small, nice and cheap. This cost £18,000. We purchased a bucket. Now, another one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because I've been using the Ford and the front loader arm and the manure fork to muck out the cows. Every time the Ford had a full manure fork of manure, and I was literally just moving it from here to my big dumping pile, as it were, of manure, the weight of the manure fork with a full manure fork of manure was too much for the Ford, and it would constantly teeter on the front wheels, so ideally I would have had a weight attached to the back. So to negate the need to have to keep doing that, I figured I'd do it properly and get myself an all singing, all dancing kind of one tool for them all on the farm. So we have treated the farm to this. We have a bucket, which is going to help to pick up my stones that I'm going to need to get dealt with at some point soon. We have this wonderful bale spike, which actually has an auto. It's got a. I haven't tested it yet, but it does have some form of universal auto load or just auto load. Essentially, it tells me I just need to press X, and it has the capacity to auto load 2 bales onto it. Now, I haven't tested it yet, so hopefully I won't eat my words and it will work relatively well. And I also I had to buy another manure fork. Now, the frustrating thing is I did actually lose a couple of thousand quid while doing all this, and it was a bit annoying because, obviously, you know, I assumed, wrongfully in this case, that when I buy a telehandler, I need to purchase telehandler equipment. No, that was not the case. I bought a bucket for the telehandler, I bought the bale spike for the telehandler, and I bought the manure fork for the telehandler. None of them would attach to the telehandler. So I sold them all and then had to purchase well, it was during testing that I found out these are actually front loader tools. So I'd sold this and then had to repurchase it again. The telehandler version of the manure fork actually holds a little bit more manure. As you can see there, it's part of the CSZ pack, and it says front loaders manure fork of monoblock teeth. If you spec this for a telehandler, it won't fit this particular telehandler. So that was a bit annoying. So in the process of doing that, I did lose a couple of grand by buying something and then selling it, all 3 tools. But you know what? I'm just going to take it on the chin. It is what it is. And we should just move forward from that. And also regarding bale trailers, and this is another mod that I've always had in my collection for a very long time, is part of the Roland pack. Now again, you can equip this with auto load, but I haven't, because I'm going to try and be a good boy and do it properly and load things with the telehandler from now on, bale-wise. I need to get better at bale stacking, and I appreciate the bale spike has an auto load function, but I think that's pretty much just going to enable me to have a neat stack of bales as I stack them onto the trailer. So that's the idea. It does have, obviously I've got the straps and stuff like that, so I can, I can strap them on. So yeah, that's how I intend to move forward with that. Now also, I'm sure you'll remember the mucking and faffing about I had in the last episode regarding the Gil AirSim cedar, because after purchasing it thinking I was being all clever, I discovered that it wasn't a direct cedar. But yesterday night, I spent a few... well, it didn't actually take me very long. I was browsing a handful of mod sites that obviously this isn't on. The original one I had is on the Mod Hub. Both the Lizard and the Gil branded versions are on the Mod Hub. But I actually found this on King Mods. Now, it's all made by the same modder. The modder responsible for this beautiful thing, and the one I had before, is Langrio Modding. Now, this one, in particular, was made several months before the one that I had, the one that was released on the Mod Hub. This is a direct cedar. It was the same price, it's the same mod, it just doesn't have the customization that the previous one had. So, like for example, I can't customize the colour of the hoses, and I can't change the decals from the new version to the old version, and you can't remove the ridge markers that are attached to the cedar, which is fine. I don't care about that. What I do care about is that it's the same mod, it's 6 meters wide, and it is a direct cedar, and I have tested it, and it works. So, I did, also on top of that, I did lose a couple of £1,000 selling the one that I had in the last episode, the original one that I bought. I cleaned it up, I emptied it, I took it down to the shop, I sold it. We sold it for £15,131. This cost the same as it did before, 17,000, so I lost 1,869 quid in that process. But again, I'm happy to take that on the chin. If I'd have taken a little bit more time to search the internet for a better direct cedar, I wouldn't have gone through that palaver in the first place. I wouldn't have had to run the cultivator in all the fields like I did. But that's in the past now, it's behind us. We have a direct cedar. Admittedly, we can't take advantage of the direct seeding function now because the field that I'm due to drill in now has been cultivated and limed, etc, etc. But moving forward, sorted. So, right, enough of that, enough of me waffling away again. I hope I've given you a relative update as to where we're up to. We do have quite a lot of pallets of lettuce that need to be sold, so I am potentially I might squeeze that in today's episode. We've got quite a few. I think there's at least 4 in every lettuce tunnel now. So we've got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So yeah, we've got quite a few pallets there. So we could do with loading up our new trailer with that at some point today. Now I appreciate the new trailer is a bit longer than the old one, so that I might encounter the odd more frequent bump getting around tight corners, but I was happy to take that risk and to put up with that because it does hold more bales. It's a bigger trailer, so I think if I had it equipped with the auto load, I think it said it would take it was either 26 or 28 bales. So that's awesome, and it was a self preference, I guess. The old bale trailer used to stack its bales like this on their side. Now, personally, I much prefer stacking bales like this on their end. Again, it's just, personal preference and all that. So it means now that I don't have the auto load function on the trailer and I will be stacking things myself, I should have full control of that. Saying that, I hope that the bale spike does auto load the bales onto itself, end up, as it were. So we shall find that out a bit later. So, right, I'm going to crack on. We're going to get this all this field work done in here. In field 57, the big field, we're going to get that drilled with oats. We're going to get fertilized. We're going to get rolled. We're going to get weeded if it needs it. And then we will then concentrate on mowing the grass here, getting it all baled up, and then manually picking all the bales up, loading them onto the trailer, and manually unloading them again at this end. So, anyway, first and foremost, big fent. Let's get in you. Yeah, you've got enough fuel for now. So let's go get hooked up to the our new seeder. Let's jump out and see where we're going, shall we? Yeah, let's get this thing hooked up to the new seeder. I think it should have some seed in. Yeah, I think it has. Let's just check that. There we go. Yes, 61%. So I think we will just to be safe, I think we shall top this one up. To do that, I shall need to shift our shiny new front loader. Telehandler, sorry. It is a lovely thing though, this. I really do like it. Ever since it was introduced to me by Scroft. Let's squeeze that in here for now. There we go. Oh, and I did spend... that click just reminded me. I did spend a couple of £1,000 repairing... I repaired the little Massey, I repaired the Ford, and I repaired the smaller of the two Fence. Because that was in need of a repair, so I think all in all, somewhere between £2,000 and £3,000 to repair them all. The Massey was about 500 quid. Ford wasn't much either on top of that. It was the other Fent that took, I'm sure it was about 1,800 quid to get that repaired fully. So, right. Anyway, let's get ourselves in the field and get drilling. Right, there we go. Job done. All drilled. Nice big field of oats. Growing away. So, I'm going to get this thing back over to the shed. We're going to give the seeder a quick wash over, because unless we take on any contracts in the near future or happen to be able to purchase another field, this thing is going to be pretty quiet and unused for a few months. So, let's just pull up here very quickly. Get the jet washer out. Give it a quick once over. Oh wow, there we go. Even though there's not a cloud in the sky, according to the weather, it's raining. We literally couldn't have timed that any better. Goodness me, it said it was going to be 10 o'clock, not 20 past 9. Ah well, it's a bit like real life, isn't it? They never quite get it right, do they? Okay, so let's get this done. Goodness me, that weather is turning now, isn't it? I was hoping to try and get this field boxed off before the rain came. I guess not. There we go. Right. Get this parked away. Now I've got to remember that I can't lower this down, can I? Unfortunately, I just have to disconnect, and drop. Right, so I think I'm possibly going to wait this rain out. Hopefully, it's not going to take too long. Let's just have a quick up into the menu here. Wrong menu. Oh, 9 o'clock, right, okay, so it changed, I see. Right, so we'll probably have to wait till 12 o'clock-ish lunchtime before we can crack on again, I think. So, see you shortly. Right, that's definitely cleared up now, and I think we've got a clear window of nice weather now for the rest of the day, so that's good and exactly what we wanted. So, let's put this thing away. I'm going to jump in the... I think I'm going to jump in the Massey. I'm going to get the rolling... In the field we've just been in, we need to get it rolled, we need to get it weeded, and we need to get it fertilized. So we can use the smaller machinery for that. I'll use the medium Fent, that one, to run the fertilizer spreader. And we're going to run this with the roller. So let's get hooked up. In fact, what I think I might do, I'm going to get all these 3 jobs done and dusted, off camera, as it were. So I'll get this hooked up, and I'll pick you all back up. For you guys, obviously, it will be a matter of seconds. For me, at least an hour, if not a couple. So I shall see you all very soon. Right, field finished. Finally. It's taken a couple of hours, but obviously the prep is worth it. We have rolled, we have weeded, and we have sprayed with fertilizer. So this field is now completely 100% done. Growing, pH value perfect, nitrogen value perfect, expected yield 125% from this particular area of field. So that's awesome. So we can now finish off with the field prep and get ourselves into the grass field and get mowing, rowing, baling, and finally, I'm very excited to do it, is to manually get all my bales picked up and loaded onto my nice new shiny trailer. So let's get this thing offloaded onto here. Obviously we have to use this Fent for the mowing and the rowing, as this is the only one of our tractors that has a front mounted PTO. So we'll just jump into this view again to make it a bit easy for us. There we go. Drop that down. Excellent stuff. Now I'll need to drop the weight off as well. In fact, I'll do that round at the workshop round here when we pick up the mower. Oh, I suppose I could have picked the rower up, couldn't I? I'm going to ask him back in two. Right, let's drop the weight off outside here. There we go. I think what I'm going to do, I again, unfortunately, as I did just with the last few jobs, I'm going to get the mowing, rowing, and baling done. Ooh, that was a bit fast, wasn't it? Get the mowing, rowing, and baling done off camera. There we go. And what I plan on doing is putting my hopefully not too shambolic bale loading skills into a bit of a time lapse. So you can follow me around as I scurry around with the new telehandler, picking up all the bales, hopefully relatively neatly, putting them on the new trailer and bringing them over to the shed and unloading them there. Squeeze down here. There we go. PTO. Jobbed. Ooh, where are we going? Right. Okay. So, let's get ourselves out into the field. And we'll get these jobs done. And hopefully it wouldn't be too long before I pick you back up again in the telehandler. Right, there we go. You know what, I'm just going to leave that there for now. Don't need to muck around with that. So I want to get in this. So, obviously all the mowing, rowing and baling is done. We got 38 bales out of the field, which I think is about the same as what we got out of at least one of the previous harvests. I think this is the second cut on this field. And this is the first cut we've had after using the... what is essentially a mulcher, or in my case the levelling board on the weeder, which acts as a mulcher. So, anyway, right, I have had a very, very quick practice with this apparently auto-loading bale spike. Now, well, I'll show you, it's easier to show you really. It doesn't auto-load, I suppose, as we'd expect it to. I kind of thought in my head, if I click on the button and auto-load it there... Right, this is it off. So I drive into the bale with before pressing the button, you're free to lift up and down through the whole bale, you see, like that, and then you press the button that would be auto load. Done. Now I can lift it up. So then what you can do is, and it's got a limit of 2 bales, so you go up to your second bale, stack it as best as you can, which in my case probably won't be particularly good. There we go. I then release the bale, drop down to the lower bale, attach it again, and there both bales are kind of attached, if you see what I mean. So it's pretty cool. I like that because it means you've got a bit more stability when you're driving across the field with more than one bale stacked on top of each other. It won't, essentially, it appears that it's not going to slide off. So, that's how this bale spike works, so it's pretty cool. So, I'm going to load up on here. Now, what I actually have had to do, annoyingly, when I came to practice all this, because I had spec'd the trailer, the Roland trailer, when you're in the menu to purchase it, you can either spec it with auto load, or if you say no to auto load, it automatically gives itself universal auto load. So I had spec'd it without auto load. I drove up to the trailer with the stack of 2 bales, and it automatically took them off the bale fork and put them on the trailer in the orientation that I don't want it to be, on its side, as opposed to on its end like this. So I've just taken it back into the workshop. I've spec'd it with auto load, but I'm not going to use it in this instance anyway. It didn't cost me any extra money or anything, so yeah. So I've had to do that. So universal auto load gets cancelled out, and it essentially now has the same auto load system that the previous bale trailer had, but I'm choosing not to use it, if that makes any sense. So anyway, right, I am going to be quiet, and I am going to put the rest of this job, picking all these bales up, putting them on the bale trailer, and taking them over to the bale shed, into a bit of a what do you call it, a time lapse. So I'm going to crack on with this, and I shall see you all in a wee while. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can all agree that that was the most shambolic performance of bale unloading and loading in the history of FARMERSIM 22 and 19 and possibly 17 as well. So I've neatened them up by hand with super strength because they were a complete mess, and obviously, as you may well have seen from that time lapse, that I did accidentally unwrap 2 of them because I've just obviously found out that because this trailer, because of the difference between the auto load and the universal auto load, in the specification that it's equipped with now, it doesn't have straps. You'll have seen that when I was that's the reason why I chose to drive through the hedge with the bale trailer full of bales, because I wasn't going to try and drive it down the road fully laden. It didn't want to move very fast anyway, and the bales felt like they were just going to topple at any second. So I took the shortest route, which was through the hedge. So I'm potentially going to have a bit of a rethink about this trailer, because it's either got auto load or universal auto load, and it either wants to snap the bales off the bale spike when I'm trying to stack them, or it doesn't have straps. Either one of those I didn't want. I just wanted I thought it would just be a normal trailer that I could load and unload onto, and then use the straps. So anyway, right, enough of that. Come the next episode, I might already have another bale trailer. I'll have a little dig into it and see what I can find. So anyway, I think I'm going to call it here for this episode. We've done quite a lot today. It's taken quite a long time to get this episode together, to be honest. It's taken me most of today. So yeah, apologies everyone for the state of that bale session. Let's hope with a bit of practice I get a bit better. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really hope you've enjoyed the video and found it a bit of fun and a bit interesting. And if you're new to the channel and you like my content and you like my the way I do things, not that bale loading, please consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving me a like on the video, and leave me a comment if you've got any suggestions. If any of you got any suggestions for a bale trailer, please hit me up with them. I'd love to hear all of them. And also, I very recently become a Giants partner, so if any of you are in the market for a DLC for the game, for an add-on, for any of it, for the season pass, there will be a link in the video description below. If you fancy helping a content creator out, yeah, there'll be a link for each individual pack and add-on and DLC, etc., in the video description below. So, thanks again, everybody, and I shall see you in the next episode.